So I want to talk about right now, it's an analogy of using what I call the agitator and then the lubricator. All right. And so for you guys don't know what an agitator is, this concept came to me literally back in the day when I was looking at a washing machine. I was working on a washing machine and had to call my dad in because my dad's, expert on basically operating anything mechanical and not me. And I had to go buy a new washing machine, and they were asking me that question, like, "Do you want an agitator in it?" And I was like, "What is this?" Okay, you guys. By the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about, means you probably don't wash your own clothes, and so thank your mom or your wife or your girlfriend. Um, and so so I got the whole process explained to me, and at the same time, the reason why this stuck with me, at the same time, I had a staff member who was very successful in our business, probably one of my best people I've ever had on moving the business forward, okay, financially at least. But the rest of the staff almost despised being at work because of this person. And so it like dawned on me when I was literally, I think it was at Lowe's or somewhere, I was talking to someone, and they were asking me about, do I want an agitator for the washing machine? And it dawned on me, I was like, I have a staff member who's doing this to the rest of the team, just like grinding and twisting on people. And even though it was getting the things cleaned, all right, we were making money, it was a stressful work environment to the point that I even would show up to work to my own business to go there to and enjoy being part of something I created, and I hated being there. And I didn't recognize like it was affecting like just wanting to be in the school. And actually, guys, a lot of you guys go to the school sometimes as your safe haven, right? Like you go there before everybody's there, or you stay later because you just feel comfortable in that space. I didn't like being there. Consequently, I've had a few of those people who are lubricators. And what those are, they're the ones who are dropping the oil, keeping the engine going. And so you don't even know that there's an issue going on because they're solving it. They're keeping it going. They're keeping the engine firing in the right direction. And so think about your team. And sometimes I know I've been the agitator. I've been the one because my mental state was in the wrong position. I was stressed about personal life, financial things, something with my parents, my sister, my kids. And so sometimes you might be that person who's hurting your team from within. They say empires are destroyed from within. And it's because sometimes greed or abundance, right? You're too affluent almost, and you don't have a goal to go after, and you kind of eat yourself from within. And so look at your team right now. And if you have someone who is just grinding on people and they might be moving the needle forward, but it's just miserable to be around. And the reason why you're probably not handling it is because you can't figure out how to handle it, or you're afraid. And a lot of times it's just fear. I was afraid of confronting people in my business because I didn't want the discomfort of having to find a new team member. But guess what happens with problems when you just ignore them, right? Whether it's a health problem, financial problem, you just ignore them, they just get bigger. Okay. And then so when you look at the lubricator, like the person who's constantly, right? Exactly, right. So constantly, uh, and talking about the person that just passed away, that was such an important influence in my martial arts life. He was the exact example of a lubricator. He was dropping these little nuggets along the way to keep the engine going. And it was sometimes in affirmations, sometimes it was in example, sometimes it was literally just little touches here and there of move this needle here, do this here, and you don't even know what's going on. And so obviously you want a team of people that are constantly doing that. And so some examples, okay? You ever walk in a store, you see a piece of trash on the floor, middle of the floor, and people just keep walking over it, right? What if you had a staff member who sees the problem in your business, sees it, just keeps overlooking it? Did you, first of all, train them to have the eye for that? Or do they keep just band-aiding the problems, right? A couple of you guys have the same issue in your bathrooms, right? Some of you guys have the same issue in your bathrooms. And what are those issues? You got something broken in there that you haven't fixed, or you've got a trash can that doesn't have the right placement. You got it in the wrong spot, or toilet paper is not fixed, and like simple things, but you know it and you just don't get it done. Or you've got that hole in the wall, or the crack in the mirror, right? And you just don't solve it, or your pro shop's empty, or something's wrong, and you know it's there, and you just don't fix it, or your team's not fixing it, or they don't care, which is even worse. And I would tell people and teach them that here's how we operate. I will teach you. I'll watch you do it. Make sure you got it. By the way, this is whether I teach you a martial arts technique or if you're my employee or if we're partners in business. And once you say, Aaron, I got this down. You sure? Perfect. You want the accountability? Yes, got it. Whether it's a kid learning a martial arts technique, whether it's my employee doing something in the business. And then they still do something against that. They make a mistake. After they told me they've got it, check. I'll give them one opportunity to correct it. I'll say, hey, that wasn't right. Let's get it fixed. You sure you got it? Great. Awesome. If it happens again, I'm going to assume something. I'm going to assume that either they're ignorant, they can't learn it, they're the wrong person for the role, or they just don't care. Like they know they're messing up, they just don't care. And that would be someone who is destroying your empire from within. So, first of all, pen and paper. I literally just did this on my sheet right here. But you should start thinking about examples of people right now. It doesn't have to be in your business. It doesn't have to be in somebody even that you personally know. It could be somebody completely in the world, right? That we all know. But like, who is that agitator that's just constantly rubbing on people, and not in a way to push them forward, but literally just because they're so maybe self-centered, maybe they're so delusioned from where they're going, they're confused, and they just like stirring the pot for no reason. They're not stirring the pot to move it forward. They're stirring it because they just don't know any different. They're just built that way. My first example, I always remember somebody was a great talent. I love watching him play football, but his nickname was Team Obliterator because his initials were TO, and he was a Hall of Fame talent. Is in the Hall of Fame, but he was a hard person to be a team member with, to the point that he doesn't have people talking positive about him after the fact. And then when I think about the Lubricator, no matter which team he's played on, and so far he's played on 2, he's going to play on 3. Mark my words. But you do not hear people talking bad about Tom Brady as a team member. They talk about how hard, not mean, how hard he was and how he set a standard. But everybody, former teammate, not a single person has been a detractor. They've all talked about his work ethic, about what he brought to the table, about how he lifted the team up. He set a standard. So, like, as an example, you should look for people that, hey, this is the kind of team I want. I want team members that lift the standard, that set the bar high. And I believe, because I know for a fact there's people on this call right now, you guys are removing things or wanting to change things to simplify or give power to people who actually are agitators. And because you don't want to deal with the problem, you're creating a bigger problem. And so there's a lot of fact about simplifying your business and getting the same result. But also, you got to think about who you're giving power and autonomy to in your business, because your empire will be destroyed from within. And I know I've made that mistake before. I've given the power to the wrong people. All right. All right. Switching gears. By the way, how many of you guys actually wrote your goals down last night and this morning again? Mine have actually changed. Like, I'm doing this with you guys. Today, I really loved what I wrote down today. Like, I love what I wrote down today. Now, who remembers yesterday? I said I was going to go do something yesterday. I said I was going to be 5 moves ahead. Anybody remember that? Is anybody paying attention? I closed the second biggest deal in my life yesterday. It might technically be the first biggest deal in my life. One conversation can change your life. I had one person, one conversation. Okay. And I had one focus yesterday. By the way, my day changed yesterday based on when I woke up yesterday morning, when I wrote my goals down. I had a plan. I knew what I was going to do that day. I was going to teach a couple of privates, teach a couple of classes. I did not do that yesterday. I woke up, wrote my goals down, and I sent a text to Miss Sarah. And I said, hey, day's changed. I got one target, one focus. I had one thing in mind. And everything in life that you want is on the other side of a conversation with someone. It's a matter of creating value and finding the right person or people or company or connections. And typically it's not just direct to that person. You have to get to one person that gets you to the next person. That's always how it's worked for me. So 5 moves ahead. I'm not a grandmaster at business yet, not even close. I'm not 15 moves ahead. But I do teach kids and adults martial arts by being 5 years ahead. I run my martial arts business by being 5 years ahead. And I can have a conversation with someone and I'm 5 years ahead. Okay. And so when you guys have a hard time closing a $5,000 membership sale, it's because you're thinking small. You guys need to have six-figure opportunities, seven-figure opportunities. One of the things I wrote down today, I told you guys I'm just writing this for myself, but I'll tell you one of the things. Because I've closed multiple six-figure deals now, okay? And yesterday was a six-figure deal that I closed. I have not closed a seven-figure deal yet. So what do you think I wrote down today? I said in the next 12 months, closing my first seven-figure deal. So my thinking is already shifting, okay? Because it's not luck. I called Cameron last night and he's like, how do you do this? He's like, and I told him, I was like, I'm failing at life because the only time I do this is every time I focus on one thing. I'm so good. I know where I'm going. I'm so sold on my outcome. I know I'm going to get there. I always get it. Then why am I not doing this 365? Why in football, the 2-minute drill, these guys can score touchdowns and they can't score in the 58 minutes? Pressure. Applied pressure does two things. And I ain't no damn pipe. Okay. All right. Last thing. This one's must do in your business. I want you to write down 3 words. Please humor me. Write down 3 words. Okay. I want you to write down the word more. M-O-R-E. If you need help. Then I want you to write underneath it. Better. I'm not going to spell for you if you can't do that when you're in trouble. And then I want you to write down new. N-E-W, not the K version. Okay, new. Okay, so this is the process I go through in my business. When you ask better questions, you get a better outcome. So the first thing I ask myself before I add something to my program, Aaron's mistakes in the past. Hey, I need more money. Let me add this extra program. Let me add this extra class. Let me add this extra service. Guess what? Your staff, you keep adding more stuff to your staff. They don't get better. You actually then sell something to someone that then you just are going to hurt your customer base because you don't have the product to provide them. So the first question before I change anything in my business is what are we doing that works that we need to do more of? Okay. For example, there's one of you guys on the call right now. You guys are the best, BEST, at getting appointments booked. Best in the industry. I'm really saying that. Like I know a lot of people across this platform in martial arts. You guys are the best at getting appointments booked. If I was the best at something, how do I just do more of it? And the excuse would be, well, we don't have the space or we don't have the staff or we don't have, yeah. And then how do we do that? Like, because if we're getting more appointments booked than anybody else in the industry, we have something that we should leverage inside our shop right now. How do we do this? Okay. So first thing is, how can we do more of what we're doing already that's working? So some of you guys have things that are working great. How do you do more of it? What is the gate? Is it staff you need more of? Do you need more training? Do you need more space? Like, what is it? Okay. That would be always the first order I go through. What's working the best that I do more of? Yesterday, I need to have more conversations like I did last night to close a deal like I did last night. I need to do more of it. If I did that every day, holy crap. Problem is I don't know enough people. That's my problem. And I know the solve. I know how I'm going to solve that problem because now it's like, all right, it's clear as day what I've been doing wrong. Okay. So more. Then the next question, if there's unavailable to do more for some constraint, you just can't do it, then how do you do it better? How do you teach better classes? If you have 800 square foot and you can't add more students, then how do you do it better? How do you charge more? That would be first. And then how do you do it better? For example, if you were in the conversation with me and Sarah yesterday, I taught one skill for 1 hour, but nobody knew I taught one skill. Not even Sarah who took the class. Until you evaluate, I'm like, okay, you can be better at how you teach. You can be better at how you communicate. You can be better. And there's nobody at all that I've ever met at any stature, in any point in life, who didn't have the ability to be better. Nobody. Nobody's been such a high level, they couldn't be better. All right. I haven't met Jesus in person yet, so maybe he's the outlier. Outside of that, everybody else on planet Earth right now, we could be better. Okay. And so what questions do you need to ask yourself or your team about improving? How about, let's go back to the agitator versus lubricator. You probably have some detractors in your team. And if you just clear the deck and got a better person, not only would you have peace of mind, you probably have a better business. Okay. Last on the list would be if I can't do more, if If I can't improve it because I've checked the box, then what do I add that's new? What new marketing, what new conversations, what new people that I need to add, or what new platform, or what new model? That would be the order. I believe you guys do the opposite of that. You go new first. All right. And then you're like, all right, well, then I'll just do more of the new stuff. Like you just do it backwards and you complicate your business model. And then you lose a key person and you're stuck. You're in trouble. All right. So you didn't write down your goals. We still got time. Do it again tonight. I mean, this is only a few days into it, and mine are already shifting. Mine are getting more clear. It's only 3 days. Mine are getting more clear. It's pretty cool. And I do this more. I did it all last year. Here's another crazy thing. Words matter. I told people last year while the year was going on, like, hey, I'm working on myself this year. I'm studying myself. I'm writing down. I did this. I did what I told you I got away from a little bit this year. And I told people last year, hey, I think next year I'm gonna go to zero. I think next year's gonna be my hardest year. Like I could predict it. Guess what? Maybe I didn't predict it. Maybe I manifested because of my words. So like, 5 moves ahead, man, words matter. And so yesterday, when I am doing a pitch, I wasn't talking about the problems where we are now. I'm talking about where we're going. And I see it so clear. I see it so clear because I've already done it. And I know the problems that I had in that structure before, and I know how to solve them. And I see it so clear to the point that when I speak about it, the other person sees it clear. That's when you know. I have a call tomorrow with someone who is a new client. I probably will not be on these calls because I have two. Well, anyway, pause. I have some clients that we keep kind of quiet for intentional reasons. But this couple that I'm working with tomorrow, their business that they're getting ready to launch, and we're talking about things. I says, hey, you're speaking to me as our relationship is now. And so I understand what you're doing because I know you. But if you were standing in front of someone as an investor that doesn't know you, doesn't know your background, they would have no clue what you're talking about. They're lost. And so you've got to be able to sell yourself, your vision, your business, what you're doing always to people on the other side of the conversation that don't know anything, no context, no contrast, and then can visualize it by your words. Everything in business lives and dies by your sales, and you got to be able to sell that vision. I promise you guys, the reason why you have some agitators in your business is you're not able to sell the vision so clear that anyone who knows you, loves you, supports you, is helping you get there because they see it so clear as well too. So get your vision very clear. And that's why writing this down, mine's getting more clear every day. It's only 3 days into it. And I love it. Right? Let's do some